the Academy has made good progress on its objectives of deepening the capabilities of our culture sector professionals, widening our networks with regional and international counterparts, as well as raising the level of scholarship and knowledge in the arts and heritage.
We can do more in revitalizing our city and spaces through placemaking. We must continue to engage our stakeholders and to do so more deeply to build on our existing efforts. As seen from some of the examples that I've shared, we need sustained engagement and purposeful programming to effectively make a place. It must be a place where culture is a part of our lives, a part of our social narratives, part of ethnic identity, yet interacting with others to bring forth a new Singaporean identity.
I think it would be the ways in which different organisations can connect with and work with communities. I think there was a fantastic focus on the way artists can become a kind of interface between government, local council, cultural organisations and communities. So I think that that's very, very valuable, especially as we're moving into an era where I think people are starting to recognise the value of culture, but it's still very opaque, it's very nebulous what those values actually are. And I think that the emphasis on co-creation was incredibly valuable, that when we're thinking about the value of culture, that we're retaining that notion that those values need to be worked through in partnership with communities.
Joe Siddique's presentation was particularly interesting. I think a lot of us in Singapore have heard about the Georgetown Festival, and the similarities between Penang and Singapore are also something that make the cases a lot more relatable.
Networking, learning, and then exchanging of ideas. And like from yesterday, I've been getting a lot of inspired ideas of how and who to work with, not just from Singapore, from Indonesia, from Australia.
I really liked Adib Jalal's presentation on placemaking and intervening into spaces. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because, like what he said, a lot of spaces are sometimes underutilized and they're void. Not many people go to these spaces, and I think really the question is how do we better maximize some of these places to make it more interactive and more engaging for the general public. Yeah, so I think some of the ideas that he came up with, things that were very low cost and yet very guerrilla style, will turn out to be very effective.
I think what's most interesting is how arts and culture is changing within the different countries, within the different cities.
I think the key takeaway so far is really everyone has a role to play in creating a very vibrant city. And from artists to private sector to the civil servants, I think we all have a part to play, and it's really about talking to each other that we can achieve a lot more for the city.
I think they've been a really stimulating mix of people with divergent and differing perspectives that collectively create a really interesting mix of how we understand arts and culture and cities.